this next video I wanted to check out. I'm late to the party. I don't care, but I want to see the story all the way through. Here, let me show you. The deserved downfall of ImAllexx. All right, let's get it. Links will be in the description below.
Despite watching his entire platform crumble in a matter of days and avoiding the situation for over a year, ImAllexx has finally returned to share his side of the story. However, would said response be enough to turn the tide of public opinion, or will it reignite the controversy and drag his reputation down even further?
Real quick, how many subscribers does he have? Because it just said 1.85 mil. How many subscribers does he still have? $1.84.
I'm pregnant.
Okay. Anyway, doesn't look like this hurt him at all.
This video is my response to allegations made by my ex-girlfriend Alice Hez, who I was in a relationship with for the majority of 2023. Alice hit me, kicked me, emotionally, verbally and physically abused me, as well as threatened me and blackmailed me constantly throughout our relationship.
Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be going over the recent developments in the web of controversies and allegations surrounding the YouTuber ImAllexx, what was revealed in his latest response video, how it affects the allegations from Alice, and why fans seem to hate Alex even more now.
Do they? I mean, how much did he have before? What? It said 1.85, but I don't know when that was taken. But right now he's at 1.84, so I don't know how many he had before.
Last year, I made a video discussing the laundry list of allegations and evidence directed at the creator ImAllexx by his ex-girlfriend Alice Hez. To give a super brief overview, Alice released an 80-page document and a handful of videos that revealed a truly disturbing side of Alex. During their 9-month relationship, it was alleged that Alex constantly abused, emotionally manipulated, and threatened Alice in the worst ways imaginable. From calling her a dumb to saying he would, quote, break her neck. Alex left nothing on the table when it came to being a horrible partner.
Now, when it's too fucking late, you admit that you did everything fucking wrong. But when it actually matters...
Bro, I still don't understand why he would have this meltdown with his camera on. As if somebody couldn't be recording that.
You should lay down like a good fucking dog. You don't fucking do it. You fight for some reason. I don't know why you fight. Because you're losing. Because you end up admitting that you fucked it all up anyway. So it's just fucking weird. And I know that you're going to end up admitting that you fucked it all up.
Alleged verbal abuse was only the beginning for Alex, as he eventually resorted to alleged physical violence by the end of their relationship. According to Alice, he'd hit her on 2 occasions, when they initially moved in together, and right after they broke up. Alex's toxic behavior wasn't limited to his then girlfriend, as he was discovered to be still stalking another one of his exes and kept intimate images of them. Throughout their time together, Alex was radically toxic, and it was only after they separated that he began showing Alice some tenderness.
Bro, how can you be so attached to your ex that bad that you're still stalking her while you're in a new relationship with another girl that you're just treating like shit? I guess it's because you're treating her like shit that you can actually still do that. But bro, come on, man. Like, move on, bro. Like, what? Do you, bro? I ain't gonna judge, but I am gonna judge.
Specifically with a 24-minute recording begging her to come back.
I could do no wrong. I felt like I was the fucking, oh, look at me, I do all this fucking work and I do everything and I try and do this and, just nobody's appreciative and, I know you appreciated it and I know that you appreciated the effort that I used to put in. And then I just stopped because I had you and you're my girlfriend and we lived together, and the more further we got through our relationship, the less effort I put in.
Unfortunately for Alex, that bridge had already been burned, and more aspects of his life were about to go up in flames. Following Ellis's expose document, the entire internet turned against Alex, from viewers dislike bombing his videos to losing around 200,000 subscribers. Alex's deplorable behavior behind the scenes was eating away at the platform he worked so hard to build. To make matters worse, his closest friends released statements disavowing him and supporting his ex. At this point, almost nothing was left of Alex's reputation, career, or community.
So he only lost 200,000 subscribers? I mean, honestly, if you're gonna have a controversy and you only lose 200,000 subscribers, and you still have over 1 million, I mean, okay.
His fall from grace was only made worse by Alex's refusal to address the situation initially, and many speculated that he would never respond at all. Fortunately for Alex, he did have a response planned. However, would it be enough to save his reputation, or would it condemn him even further? On the 20th of March 2025, Alex would finally return to the internet with a 2-hour-long video titled My Response.
This video is my response to allegations made by my ex-girlfriend Alice Hez, who I was in a relationship with for the majority of 2023. Alice hit me, kicked me, emotionally, verbally, and physically abused me, as well as threatened me and blackmailed me constantly.
I'm sure somebody, went through all those images he spammed across his screen, and they probably found a lot of like bullshit or something. I don't know. I don't know what they found, but I wonder if they're gonna tell us. I'm guessing they will.
Throughout our relationship. Alice has continued to harass me by posting false information about me, as well as fabricating stories about our relationship online to this day.
To start things off, Alex addressed the claim from Alice that he was under police investigation and listed in the Clare's Law database. According to Alex, there couldn't have been a police investigation since law enforcement never contacted him, and his name was not on the Clare's Law website. Furthermore, Alex highlighted how Alice shouldn't be able to share any information about an ongoing investigation, and even if she did, her private comments on the issues kept contradicting each other.
Alice wrote all of these messages and posted the document knowing that the police investigation was a lie, as it would not be possible for Alice to share any information if this was at any point an ongoing case.
From Alex's perspective, the supposed police investigation was only included to heighten the severity of the situation publicly and push the narrative that he was a criminal. While there was a possibility of that being the case, the way
it does make sense. I mean, but it's only if that's the case.
Alex was presenting Clare's Law was nowhere near accurate. You see, Clare's Law doesn't operate like typical criminal records, and it is not as severe. Clare's Law is simply a paper trail that police in the UK can reference in the event that someone is suspected of or reported for domestic abuse, with their website stating, Clare's Law, also known as the Domestic Violence Disclosure Scheme, is a police policy giving people the right to know if their current or ex-partner has any previous history of violence or abuse. The way Alex was presenting it made it seem like Alice was calling him a criminal, but the actual nature of the policy was more of a preventative measure. The next topic on the table was how Alice supposedly fabricated, hid, and altered many aspects of her story to preserve a one-sided narrative of him being an abuser, from changing aspects of her Google Doc to blocking people for calling out her inconsistencies on Twitter. Alex presented viewers with the idea that Alice was intentionally lying about the events that transpired in their relationship.
When Alice's story was questioned by people on Twitter, she responded with threats to leak my phone number whilst also insulting me and anyone who pointed out these inconsistencies in her document. Alice would then block these people after arguing and insulting them for replying to her posts, as they were highlighting many of the inconsistencies and lies that Alice had made. Alice changed her Google document multiple times to hide these criticisms, and has cropped messages that showed her using the same racial slurs that she had accused me of bringing into our relationship, as it directly contradicted her story.
One of the more serious aspects of the story that Alex touched on was the notion that
she could say she got her language from the time she spent with you. Although there is always that possibility that she was using that shit beforehand. We just had to see evidence of her using that before she got with him.
that he wasn't at all abusive in the relationship. To support his idea, Alex shared screenshots and parts of Alice's Google Doc that show her admitting to physically abusing him on multiple occasions. He also stated that Alice had fabricated one of the physical confrontations they had early on in their relationship and blown it out of proportion.
I had told my friends that Alice had been hitting me. Alice denied this on text when she found out and threatened to sue me if I continued to tell people she had been hitting me throughout our relationship. Alice says that my story will contradict hers, and that is because Alice knows that our relationship is not how she has portrayed it online. Alice says we had a huge fight where I dragged her, covered her mouth, and put her in a headlock, and that this happened on the 19th of October, a few days after we had moved in with each other. There are no texts from this time that even suggest that we were fighting or had been in a fight, and that's because this did not happen.
Following this, Alice supposedly used those accusations of abuse to blackmail him into staying in the relationship, all the while being the one that was abusive. However, Alex did admit to assaulting Alice on one occasion, but
there is a lot of I'd say DV. What up, MCM? There's a lot of DV that is started by the that's where the woman's the aggressor, but a lot of it doesn't get reported because, well, apparently a lot of it doesn't get reported because, you know, just men just don't report it. But so apparently it's not unheard of, but that doesn't mean that's the case in this situation.
Tried to justify it with the following statement.
Alice started by calling me fat in text and in person, and this was because she wanted me to keep my shirt on because she did not like my illness and she didn't want to see it or be around it. We were in bed together and Alice told me when I took my shirt off that if I was going to do that, then she wanted me to sleep downstairs.
What's his illness?
I told Alice I wasn't going to do that because I wanted to sleep in our bed that night, and she had complained that I spent too much time away from her. This angered Alice and she called me names. I ignored her and turned away so I could go to sleep. Alice turned around in bed and kicked me in my lower back, and I told her to fuck off. And then she kicked me even harder and then started to donkey kick me in my neck and in the back of my head. Alice had done this so hard that I fell out of the bed while she was still kicking me. I proceeded to get incredibly angry and I shouted at Alice and I insulted her, and this is something that I deeply regret doing. When I messaged Alice about this on Facebook, she said that she didn't just start kicking me.
You gotta put cameras in your place, in your house. If you're a content creator and you know you start making it big, you gotta put cameras in your house because you don't know who's going to try to, you know, pin some shit on you, whether it's fake or real. But you should put cameras in your house, even just because the off chance that, you know, she is lying, and you would have, you know, video footage of it. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Hard. The argument had got worse and we both started insulting each other. Alice then pushed me and tried to hit me. This is when I grabbed Alice by the arms and I pulled her to the floor. This is
He could have at least started recording when she was kicking him.
the only time that I tried to defend myself after Alice had tried to attack me after kicking me in the back of the head.
At this point, it was evident that the relationship was reaching its boiling point, and even the most minor transgression sparked arguments between the two. Things as insignificant as the way he talked to their cat would upset Alice, and restart their entire cycle of toxicity, something that Alex fully admits to both participating in and perpetuating.
I would get upset after I was pushed, slapped or punched. I was horrible to Alice on many occasions, and I deeply regret this behaviour, and nothing will justify that. But the order in which these events have been portrayed as false, as Alice is once again ignoring that she had tried to hurt me when I was just talking with our cat. I was upset and frustrated that Alice hadn't apologised for getting physical with me, and I lashed out at Alice over text, which I regret.
To end said cycle, Alex claimed he tried to end their relationship, but Alice wouldn't let him do that and threatened to air out all their dirty laundry publicly. However, Alice was already partially doing that by claiming he was on Claire's Law in the comments section of her TikTok page. When Alex's friends found out about the situation, he tried to explain his side of the story, but acknowledged that none of it justified how he acted in the relationship.
Alice said that it wasn't like she had named me in these posts or made a video about me, but she had responded and deleted comments on videos she posted saying it was about me and that I was on Claire's Law, which again is a lie. My friend saw the TikToks Alice had been posting online as she had gone through and followed them all after our breakup. Me and my friends had a call where I answered questions about my relationship, and I told my side of the story where I explained that Alice had been physically abusing me throughout our relationship. I made it clear that I did not believe that this was an excuse for my behaviour, and that our relationship was toxic and it was not good for either of us, and that I was ashamed of how I had behaved. A friend of mine at the time, a YouTuber who goes by the name of ImAllexx, had messaged me in our group chat encouraging me to share more stories and all the evidence I had of Alice's abuse. He told me I could trust him, and that because we were friends that they weren't going to share any of it anywhere, and that it would remain private after I made it clear that I was worried that it would be leaked. Alice messaged me with direct screenshots from the private conversation that I had had with ImAllexx and my friends. Alice had been sent screenshots from our private conversation, and it was clear that if I talked to anyone she would know, as she was following as many of my friends as possible.
Sadly, the toxicity didn't end with their relationship, as Alex admitted to trying to patch things up, but was met with even more manipulation and alleged lies from Alice.
Although we had been broken up for months at this point, Alice was still messaging me about the girls that I had followed on Instagram or friends that I had refollowed. Alice sent me this message saying that any girl that I speak to would be ugly anyway, and proceeded to insult them after claiming that she hasn't tried to stalk me or try to control me in her document. I refollowed my friends when it became clear to me that I was being manipulated and blackmailed by Alice. This is because Alice had unfollowed them on my phone. I did not follow many girls that I had had relations with, and we had not been together for months at this point. Alice has posted texts and videos of me begging for her back and apologizing to her. I understand how irrational my behavior looks, as I was going from one extreme to another emotionally. I was desperate for any form of solution, as it is clear from the voice notes and videos that Alice has shared that the constant emotional manipulation was having a severe effect on me, and I was saying whatever I thought I had to at the time to end the constant arguing, fighting, and blackmail.
For the rest of the response, Alex outlined several misinterpreted events, lies, and manipulated narratives that made up Alice's document. From demanding access to his phone to find incriminating evidence, to admitting her own mental issues but focused on his. Alex wanted to show viewers that she wasn't as innocent as she claimed. However, does Alice allegedly being manipulative or malicious absolve Alex of his own abusive behavior?
Of course it doesn't. But it sounds like there's just both toxic. Like the relationship itself was toxic. They were both had a hand in it. It's not one against the other, but it definitely doesn't, excuse Alex's behavior either. Like also he could have just left the relationship, or he could have just, I don't know, bro. Some people like toxic and they like thrive off that, and so they continue to seek that out in relationships, and they just can't do without it. That sucks for them though. Yeah, they play into that shit. They like that shit.
Viewers didn't think so, and bombarded the video with dislikes and critical comments, such as, "All I'm going to say is that you're in no position to cry about the internet not giving you a chance to respond fast enough when you threw your friend Slazzo under the bus the moment you had the chance, with false claims. You guys are both wrong here, and that you were both part of a severely toxic relationship," as well as, "I don't think anyone will ever know the truth apart from those two and the cat." While Alex had cleared the air on many of the accusations.
Bro, the cat knows the cat knows all. The cat knows the truth. Seek the cat, find the cat, you'll learn the truth.
He hardly touched on his own faults in the situation, and barely mentioned any of the videos that showed him being manic. Things like the long section about the cat came off as unnecessary and misleading, since it wasn't important to the allegations. Either way, viewers had heard his side of the story, but it wouldn't mark the end of the controversy. A few hours after Alex's video went live, Alice made a series of tweets refuting his claims and reinforcing her accusations, starting with the police report. Alice shared screenshots of her conversation with a police investigator and the report she filed. From her perspective, this was enough to frame Alex as a suspect in an ongoing case, but in reality, none of the images indicated that charges were being pressed. Altogether, it looked like the law enforcement was just following up on a report, and it wasn't as dire as Alice made it out to be. Following this, Alice pushed the idea that they were equally as toxic to each other, with statements like, "All you've done is try to paint me out to be a liar, instead of owning up to what you did and taking accountability. And not once do I manipulate him to stay with me. I 100% was toxic back after being in the relationship, with the abuse I endured from this man for months on end. Should I have left sooner? Yes, but I was scared to. It took him being physical a second time to do so. While Alice was focusing on the intent behind Alex's response and how it betrayed her, fans were more concerned with the facts of the matter. More specifically, they wanted to know why she seemingly lied about her ex-partner not having any diagnosed mental illness. In response, Alice stated that Alex was diagnosed after they broke up. This adds up, since the diagnosis came on the 3rd of July 2024, a month after her expose document was released. However, the fact that she was still running with the narrative months after the diagnosis raised some serious concerns and questions. Was Alice unaware of the diagnosis, or was she just trying to muddy her ex's name even more? Either way, Alex wasn't about to let Alice have the last say, as he released yet another response, reading, "The stories that are in this report have been fabricated. Alice falsely accused me of pulling her to the ground and putting her in a headlock on the second day of living together in the report, despite her writing in her document that it happened on the 4th. There is no evidence to back up these claims in Alice's story. While it isn't possible to access Alice's original Google Doc, what Alex says about the dates is true when you compare the police report to what was said in the doc." Following this, Alex talked about how Alice was still lying about not being an abuser who claimed she never kicked him in bed, reading, "Alice says there is no text evidence of her kicking me, despite the screenshot she has responded to clearly showing Alice admitting to kicking me, and that she had a reason for why she had done this, as it was due to me sleeping shirtless." Alex continued by highlighting 2 other times that Alice had lied publicly. One was in a deleted tweet, where she claimed none of her statements were
Bro, why would you want to be with somebody that kicks you out of the bed that y'all share because you want to be shirtless, and she apparently doesn't want to see your whatever? How could you be with somebody that does that? Wouldn't you rather be with somebody who accepts you for you and not what you can do for them at the moment?
fabricated, but that's already been proven false. The other was during the aftermath of their relationship when Alice tried to frame Alex's gifts and pleas to get back together as harassment, when she was the one who asked him to do it. Reading, Alice also wrote in her report that I was harassing her despite me trying to end our relationship multiple times. Alice told the police I was harassing her by sending her letters and a bear, two things that she'd asked me to do, which she then used to build her story to the police and document. Regardless of what happened between them, Alex made sure to acknowledge his faults in the situation and promised viewers he'd be a better person. Reading, this isn't an excuse for my behavior, which I made clear in the video, and in my psychiatric document where I openly discussed being verbally abusive towards her with my psychiatrist. I apologized many times privately to Alice for how unacceptable it was, which can be seen throughout the video as I tried to sort this out privately on many occasions. I am deeply sorry for things turning out this way. It is my responsibility to be better. Well,
I'm not gonna lie, man. This guy didn't respond for like a year, and when he finally did, he came with like some receipts. It looks like, and like he came with shit in order, like timestamps and shit. Like, damn. Okay.
Alex was doing his best to repair his image and put everything behind him. The controversy was far from over, as his response to Alice brought with it a whole new wave of allegations and evidence he couldn't deny. On the 31st of March 2025, Alice published a massive 750-page document and several recordings detailing the full context of her relationship with Alex. For the sake of this video's length, we'll only examine the essential parts of the document and compare them to the narrative Alex presented in his response.
700-page document? God damn. I mean, she came with some receipts too, I guess.
The first issue Alex tackled was the claims made about the police investigation, specifically that she lied about Alex being convicted of a crime, and that said conviction would be a requirement for being listed on the Clare's Law website. Reading, to say that I lied about going to the police about this, claiming that to be on Claire's law you must be convicted, is false. I reported everything I could to the police with evidence I posted and more. That does not mean he was convicted or contacted. I was given the option to take Alex to court and get a restraining order because of the threats to kill and harm me. I didn't and don't have it in me to go through court. And looking back now, I should have. Everything Alex
Do we have evidence of these threats to unalive you? Let's see. You don't need to be convicted to be subject to a Claire's law disclosure. The scheme allows police to disclose information about a person's history of violent or abusive behavior.
Alice was saying here fully lines up with how Claire's law works, which leaves a massive hole in Alex's initial argument. Either he didn't know how the policy worked, or deliberately tried to discredit Alice by misinterpreting it. Unfortunately for Alex, the only one being discredited was him, as Alice shared several screenshots of him admitting to being the primary aggressor in their relationship, with texts reading, "You keep saying this like I abused you. No, I actually have never said you abused me. I said it was toxic, but I understood why it had gotten there and I heavily regretted it." As a reminder, Alex's words in these texts directly contradict the points he made in his response video and show that he willfully misrepresented the facts of their relationship.
Instead, Alice has fabricated a story entirely and has accused me of being physically abusive to hide the fact that she had been slapping, punching and kicking me throughout our relationship, something that she had tried to hide from a document and has lied about on Twitter publicly.
As if that wasn't bad enough, Alice also revealed that the only reason she released her first Google Doc was because Alex was pressuring her to stay quiet about their relationship. Reading, "I'd like to mention at this point, I had zero plans on making any statement or going public. It was the messages of him telling me to keep quiet about it that influenced my decision, and the raw fact that I wanted to clear up why I had been tiptoeing around on TikTok at the time." Above that statement, Alice included a collection of screenshots of Alex reaching out to her about posts and comments people were linking back to him. Reading, "Hey Alice, a lot of people have started to read into the posts you've made about us. I understand you're venting and I don't want to invalidate that. The posts are putting me in a really difficult position, especially because people are talking about how I haven't addressed any of it. I don't want to have to talk about it or risk making this bigger or worse for both of us. We both made mistakes that I know we regret. I'm not happy about how any of it ended and I wish every day it was different." From the very beginning, Alex knew how much damage Alice's statements would do to his career and was desperately trying to keep it out of the public eye. Sadly, his attempts to keep everything secret would be the very thing that revealed them. Following this, Alice touched on the claim that she kicked Alex in bed for being, quote, fat, and pointed out how it didn't line up with what he said in their texts. Reading, "He then says I kicked him in the bed a few..."
Kicked him out of bed for being fat? What? That's still no reason to kick him out of bed. What the fuck? Bruh.
Few times for being sweaty. Again, a lie that has now changed into another story, claiming kicks in the head and calling him fat. This was the situation where I pushed him off me in bed. Yes, him being sweaty played part in that. And the fact I didn't want him near me after being mean to me in an argument prior. I didn't kick him out of the bed physically. Again, this directly contradicts the story Alex presented to viewers in his response.
Okay, but
Originally, she seemed supportive, but it quickly became something that she would use to hurt me. Alice started by calling me fat and texting in person, and this was because she wanted me to keep my shirt on because she did not like my illness and she didn't want to see it or be around it. We were in bed.
What's his illness? I don't know what his illness is.
Together, and Alice...
Let me see. I'm Alex illness. His eating disorder.
Yeah. It shows at least it's not as big as a deal as it was. Whereas and that's I think the issue is I don't think it would have been a big problem. It was when it went on for about 2 days where I hadn't eaten, and I was like, then I realised that I haven't eaten 2 days, And then I kind of talked myself into that idea. I talked myself into basically having an eating disorder with food.
That's so
Don't know,
weird.
don't know what it was. You smell something that makes you feel sick. If you put something in front of me, it would like, you know, when like you smell something that makes you feel sick.
Yeah.
It was like that but with food.
That's so weird.
Don't know what it was. It was like a switch. It was like I went from like every Sunday I just woke up one day and it's like food makes you feel physically ill.
I had a mate that was exactly the same.
Huh. That's gotta suck. Food makes you feel, so you gotta force yourself to eat. Like he went 2 days without eating, so he has to force himself to eat. Damn. So I guess he's super skinny. Is that because of his eating disorder? And she didn't want to see that?
Alice told me when I took my shirt off that if I was going to do that, then she wanted me to sleep downstairs. I told Alice I wasn't going to do that because I wanted to sleep in our bed that night, and she had complained that I spent too much time away from her. This angered Alice, and she called me names. I ignored her and turned away so I could go to sleep. Alice turned around in bed and kicked me in my lower back, and I told her to fuck off, and then she kicked me even harder and then started to donkey kick me in my neck and in the back of my head.
Again, why would you want to be with someone who you can't even accept you for who you are? Like, why would you want to be with someone like that? Like, and then you can't even sleep in your own bed because she doesn't want to see you with your shirt off? And you still want to be with somebody like that? Hell no, bro.
Alice had done this so hard that I fell out of the bed while she was still kicking me. I proceeded to get incredibly angry, and I shouted at Alice, and I insulted her, and this is something that I deeply regret doing. When I messaged Alice about this on Facebook, she said that she didn't just start kicking me hard.
Not only that, but the other instance of abuse over the cat that Alex tried to pin on Alice was wholly discounted by both parties in DMs, with Alice stating, "I never hit you or punched you in the face," with Alex responding, "I only asked because it's been so much recently and I've been really trying not to message you. Sorry I didn't accuse you of like actually beating me up, and I didn't explain it like that," with another message stating, "I think we chalked it down at the time to a misunderstanding. I'm looking at now. Obviously, it's just been hard with so many people asking, but I swear I only replied once, then cut everything off." What's even more concerning is how nowhere in the messages did Alex mention a history of Alice physically abusing him, and only seems to bring it up when he was making a response video. Lying about being abused and exaggerating parts of their relationship was becoming a very distinct pattern with Alex, as he also mentioned a history of. What's even people ask misunderstand it like that. Sorry, I only stating, "I never hit you or punched you in the face."
I mean, it seems like he did say that she did that. Or is she just saying that because she saw his response video? And are these messages after the response video? I don't know. Because, I mean, if not, then, like, there's him saying it, right? Like, because she's, I don't know. Unless he didn't actually say it. Shit.
Belongings, which is a lie. At no
Relationship was becoming a very distinct pattern with Alex, as he also lied about not breaking her monitors in his response, but admitted to it in their messages.
Alice is also
in his response.
I see, boss. I appreciate you sending that money from my screens, by the way. I didn't mean to break them. I just had it. I just have done it getting the camera. I just have done it getting the camera. I just want. Wow. Anyway, well, getting caught lying, bro. It's over
But
with.
admitted to it in their messages.
Alice has also gone on to accuse me of smashing up her belongings, which is a lie. At no point had I broken anything of Alice's during our relationship, and as you can see from these messages that Alice has left out of her document, she sent me pictures of her monitors a few days after our argument, where Alice had falsely accused me of assaulting her and threatened to report me to the police because I had asked Alice to stay away from me because I no longer wanted to be in a relationship with her.
Despite Alex claiming he wanted nothing to do with Alice after their breakup, he's been seen crying about it and begging her to come back.
I was selfish in the moment and thought every time that you just...
I mean, that's true. How you gonna be like, I didn't want to be with her anymore, but I did beg her to come back to me. What?
kind of apologize with me. I'm holding this Polaroid of you. And I want nothing more than for you to just come out of this picture and just be here. I want my Alice back.
Why would you record yourself saying this? And she recorded you. Why would you leave it? Why would you leave this? Why would you leave this message?
God, I want you back more than anything in the fucking world. And the way that you feel about me, what I have done. I'm never ever, like I'm never gonna be able to change that.
These contradictions were only the tip of the iceberg, as Ellis's document points out numerous other examples of Alex either misrepresenting facts or outright lying about the course of events. However, whenever that fact was pointed out, Alex tried to pin the blame on someone else.
You just fucking misrepresent everything and tell it in a completely different order is fucking sickening. Like, I'm actually so fucking fed up with the way that you on purposely, like, fucking tell events. It's like driving me up the fucking wall. I was trying to speak to you. You were being a bitch. I know you don't like that word, but you were being a bitch. You were being fucking rude to me. I don't understand why. And then was like, can you not fucking say everything all at once? And then you started fucking insulting me, calling me fucking autistic. Like, as if that's fucking acceptable, as if that's okay.
He even goes as far as justifying his horrendous behavior because Alice was, quote, rude to him.
And I literally said, calm down, everything's fine. This doesn't need to be a big deal. And you were like, it's not a big deal, but you were like clearly fucking being rude still. Like, your whole attitude was fucking horrific. Like, I mean, I tried to calm you down. And then you started being weird, like fucking not talking to me, walking past me, not looking at me, or purposely trying to antagonize me at that point. Because at that point you decided that you want to fucking annoy me for some reason. Like, I was just telling you to calm down because I didn't want to have to clean everything in a miserable fucking mood. That was what I was telling you to do. I was like, stop doing this because it doesn't have to be like this. But it always has to be like this with you. It's always fucking miserable. Everything's always it's always fucking miserable with you. I don't understand. I got so much shit on. And you know it. Like, I'm trying to prepare everything for tomorrow. I was trying to, figure out why I don't have any fucking money because it's been fucking stolen from me. 70 fucking grand.
God damn.
You couldn't even fucking imagine.
While Alex did a majority of the harm in their relationship, Alice wasn't going to ignore the fact that she still played a part in their toxic cycle, reading, "I retaliated badly in this relationship, and I will forever be apologetic for the words I used that offended others. But it..."
Okay, so at least she did, she did agree that she was also toxic. And yeah, they were both just toxic in their relationship. So, I mean, Alex is like a little more at fault because he is the aggressor, it seems, but they were both toxic in their relationship instead of just leaving the relationship at all. Like I said before, people are drawn to that shit, and I don't know why. Some people love that excitement. It's just, nah, bring me peace, yo.
It is the right thing to do, after he has lied about the whole relationship, to just put everything out there from both sides. I will not hide from anything I've done, because I truly do want to move on from this, heal, and better myself. It's safe to say that Alex didn't expect any of this to become public knowledge when he initially released his response video. That's why he felt so comfortable twisting the story to make Alice look like the abuser. Now that it's all out in the open, there's very little room for misinterpretation. When Alex made his response video, many thought he'd be at least able to bring new evidence and a fresh perspective on his relationship with Alice. Unfortunately, all he managed to do was wreck his reputation by lying, manipulating, and obscuring events in an effort to accuse Alice of things he was guilty for. Yes, many aspects of their relationship were blown out of proportion or unverifiable, but the parts that were still true cast a long shadow over Alex's career, threatening to bash her head in, degrading her in texts, and physically assaulting her aren't things that can be overlooked, especially when you consider how harshly Alex criticizes other people for lesser offenses. Whether or not Alex will make another response to the 750-page document remains to be seen. What is certain is that the internet will never let him live this down, and will remind him of the lies he told for the rest of his online career if he has one.
Damn, bruh. That shit. Oof. I mean, that's what you get for trying to when you go online or some shit and you act like you're a completely different person just simply to appeal to people, right? Instead of being genuine and being who you are. But if you were just yourself in the beginning, you wouldn't have that problem. It might have taken longer for you to get to where he was, but like at least he wouldn't be having that problem. And I don't understand why people. I don't know if I'm gonna ever understand why people stay in toxic relationships. Like I obviously I have an idea why, but I don't think I'll ever fully understand. Like, because obviously that's not my style. So, but anyway, let me know what y'all think. Alex is definitely is the one that's mostly in the wrong here. He's definitely in the wrong. But I don't know how many subscribers he actually lost. It looks like he only lost 400,000 over it. So whatever, it's not bothering his subscribers. They don't really care apparently. But looks like they were both in just feeding each other toxicity instead of trying to help each other become the better versions of themselves. But anyway, that's it for this video. Links will be in the description below. Check it out, Internet Anarchist, and peace.